Hey everyone, SlickCuber here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to solve the pyramorphix. So the pyramorphix is a 2x2 shape mod that could theoretically be solved just like a 2x2. However, because the layers kind of morph around past each other, you end up kind of getting lost when trying to keep track of the corners, unless you're better than me. So today we're going to be going over a method on how to solve this thing that's a lot easier to keep track of and movements that are a little bit easier to predict. All right, so here we have a freshly scrambled pyramorphix, and the first step of this is to get it into a pyramid shape. One thing that I always look for is these little kind of groups of corners right here that kind of make what kind of looks like a little mouth opening. If you can find two of these, you're actually in pretty good shape. All you're going to do is you're going to bring them next to each other like this. So you make this little interesting shape, kind of like a little torpedo. And then if you actually take one of these sides and keep turning it, it kind of turns into this kind of flat shape right here. And once you get here, you're actually just one turn away from going into the pyramid shape. And you can see it right there. If you do a turn and you end up not going to the pyramid shape like this, just turn it back to where you were and just try it turning on a different axis and you will get to the pyramid shape. There can actually only be so many shapes. You either have one, the pyramid shape, which is very obvious. You have this flat shape, which is one turn away from being a pyramid shape, where all you have to do is turn it and boom, you have a pyramid. You have the case that is one turn away from being the flat shape in this one, where you have all the corners pointing up and you've got this kind of point on the other side. All you do is then go to the flat shape like that and then go to pyramid. And then besides this, there's only two other cases that can really happen, or actually three, I guess. You can have it where you have like two different mouth shapes like this, and then you can either do it like this and then continue on the flat piece, or actually for this particular one, you can actually just turn this to the flat piece right away. So besides the ones where you already have the two mouthpieces and you can easily get it to a pyramid shape, you're gonna have one like this. This is the one you'll get a lot, where it's kind of like a flat pyramid. It just looks like this top one tilted over a little bit. And all you have to do for this one is find your one mouthpiece right here and kind of put it on your left. And then you're gonna take this side and you're just gonna tilt it up like that. So all I did is I grabbed this and I brought it up. And what that does is it makes one mouthpiece right here and then another mouthpiece right here. And now you can just twist it like this to flatten it. All right, so the only other case where you don't already have two mouthpieces on your pyramorphix that you can match together is this one, where it looks like a little hat. You can see this point is flat and it's actually sticking out the other side right here. This one technically has three mouthpieces right here, but they're all sharing this same corner right here, and we can't have that. So all you have to do is just grab one of these sides and bring it down. And just like that, now you have one mouthpiece right here and you have another one right here. And so you can bring them together like this, or you can actually just go the opposite direction too and just flatten it right away. And then boom, you have a pyramid shape. All right, so once you have your pyramorphix in pyramid shape, we're gonna pick one corner, and that's gonna be our reference corner, and it's gonna be what we shape the entire pyramorphix around. So let's just pick this corner that's right here in front of us, and we see that it has blue, green, and red on it, which means that this is gonna be the blue side, this is gonna be the green side, this is gonna be the red side, and we're gonna end up putting the yellow in the back. So the first thing we should do is to make sure all of our corners are in the right place. Whether or not they're twisted in the right direction doesn't matter, we just want them to be in the right place on the pyramid. So this top one should have green and blue on it because it's going to share two sides right here. So here's our other green and blue one. So there's no algorithms or anything fancy to do on this one. All we have to do is just turn until it's up to the top. So now the blue and the green one is up here. So now we need to look around our pyramorphix and make sure that these two corners are in the right place, because we know that these two are. So this one, we see that we actually have a face on the bottom, but this is going to get screwed up as we go about this, so we can just ignore that for now. This one is the yellow, green, and blue side. So this one should have blue on it, but we can see that it actually doesn't. Because remember, this is our reference corner. This one is correct no matter what. So this side is going to be the blue side. This does not have blue on it, which means it's over here. So what we can do is, remembering this is our reference corner, never lose track of that. Just take this D or the B face and just flip it around. Now, the blues will all be able to make a blue over here, and the reds will still be able to make on the bottom, and the yellows will still be able to make on the back, while this all has green, if that makes any sense. So like I just showed you guys, that bottom red face already got screwed up just because it was just luck that we had that there, and it was gonna get screwed up anyway. So the first thing we should do with this is to make sure that the center that's in the back is in the back, and then we'll worry about rotating these three centers around our reference point. So we can see that yellow is down here, and yellow should in fact be in the back because our reference corner right here only has blue, green, and red, does not have yellow, which means the yellow is going to be behind it. So we're going to make sure that the center we're trying to put in the back is on the bottom, and we're going to make sure that your reference corner is still in front. So here's the yellows on the bottom, and we're going to do this one short little algorithm. And that is D2 or B2. So this thing in the back here, we're gonna move it twice. And then R2, L2, and then R2. And now you can see that this is actually nice that these centers solved each other and the yellow is in the back. So the next step is to fix these centers around the front, but because these are already solved, I'm just gonna scramble them up real quick just so we can go about this tutorial. All right. So here's our first case. We still have our reference corner here in the front and yellow's in the back like we just put it. However, these are all rotated incorrectly. And what we need to do is we need to rotate them counterclockwise. The blue needs to go over here, the red needs to go over here, and the green needs to go over here. Because remember, our reference corner is always correct. So the counterclockwise algorithm is L prime, R, D2, L, R prime. And I'll show you how we're gonna do that. Remember, reference corner is in front. This is the right face, this is the left face, and D is this kind of back face back here. Now, I find that it helps to just keep a hand on your reference corner so that you don't misplace it. And it makes it easy so you can see where your R, L, and D is. Holding onto our reference corner, we're gonna do the algorithm. Do L prime up like that, and then you're going to do R, bring R up like that, and then you're gonna do D2. Remember, this is our reference corner, so D2 is this in the back. I'm gonna turn it twice, and then we're gonna do L back down, and we're gonna do R prime back down. So you can see that solved our centers. Green is right here, blue is right here, and red is right here, and yellow is still in the back. All right, so our next case is the same thing, but this time a clockwise rotation. So red needs to go here, blue needs to go here, and green needs to go here, because again, just one more time, reference corner is always correct. So the algorithm for this one is R, L prime, D2, R prime, L, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. So we're gonna do R, bring this up. Remember, hold the reference corner, L prime, D2, move this back one, R prime, bring this down, and then L, bring this down. And we can see these centers right here are now solved and yellow is still in the back. Okay, so our last case is we have one correct and two incorrect. If it looks like this, just make sure to put the correct one on the bottom, and we're gonna swap the one on the right and the one on the left. This algorithm is R2, L, D2, R, L2, D prime, and let's go over how to do that. This one is actually probably the hardest algorithm to do on this, just because when you do R2 and then the L, your whole pyramorphix is a completely different shape, so it can be kind of hard to realize where your D2 is. So let's go ahead and do R2. So again, grab your reference corner so you don't lose it. Do an R2, and then we're gonna do an L, and then we're gonna do a D2, and it can be kind of hard to see where this one is. So what I do is I just look at the reference corner, and here this is, I'm gonna grab it with my thumb, and this is the D2 face. So 1, 2. And you'll know that you did it right because the next step is an R, and it's just kind of this one, just a one pyramid shape that you're just turning. So we're just gonna do an R, L2, oh, if it gets caught, that's fine, L2, and then we're gonna do a D prime, oh, D prime. And sometimes it's hard to know which one's a D and which one's a D prime, so if you do it and then you realize that this is wrong, just flip it back. And we can see that that has now swapped it. I am gonna do that one again just because that algorithm is kind of confusing. All right, so we have the case back, and we're just gonna go ahead and swap these two again. Remember, grab your reference corner, R2, and then L, and then D2, and we're gonna find D2 by looking at our reference corner, finding the face that's under it, and putting our thumb on it, and we're gonna do a D2, and then we know that we did that right because the next R is just a tiny little tip that you're twisting. So R, and then we're gonna go over here and do L2, and again, make sure it's all together, L2, and then we're gonna do a D prime. And we can see that that is now solved blue and the green and the red. And again, if you end up and the center is wrong, you just did the D prime the wrong way. So just turn it back the other way. All right, so now we are on to the last step, which is just to solve the tips. And these are all really easy algorithms, and all we're gonna do is gonna twist them one at a time. So your reference corner is right here in front, but it doesn't actually matter because all we care about now is the tip you wanna twist, you want it on the top. And there are two different directions you can do it, and it just needs to go counterclockwise or clockwise. Here we go. So again, doesn't matter which one is in front. This needs to go clockwise. So R, L prime, R prime, L, and then you do that again. R, L prime, R prime, L. There we go. And now we just have one more corner right here. And this one also needs to go clockwise. So pick any corner and we're gonna do the same thing. R, L prime, R prime, L, R, L prime, R prime, L. And there you go, you have it solved. We did not get any case where we need to go counterclockwise. So let's just go ahead and twist this one so I can show you guys how to do that. All right, so now here we have a case where this tip needs to go counterclockwise. So blue here, red here, green here, and that's a counterclockwise rotation. So we're gonna do, and remember, grab any corner in the front. We're gonna do L prime, and then R, and then L, and then R prime, and then do it again. L prime, R, L, R prime. And there we go, it's all solved. All right, so at this point, your pyramorphic should be solved. We've also gone through all the different cases you can have on the way to getting it solved, so you guys should have everything you need to solve your own pyramorphics. Let's just do one more example solve on a new scramble. All right, so here we have a fresh scramble. I'm gonna try to find two of these mouthpieces. However, the only one we see right now is these three that are all using the same one. So I'm gonna move this side so that we can make two separate pairs. So if we take this and we move it like this, now we have two separate of these little mouths, and we can bring them together, and then we can flatten it and then turn it into a pyramid. So I'm gonna pick my reference corner right here. So we have the red, blue, and yellow one, which means this one on top, we want to have blue and yellow. So this one does not right now. So we're gonna bring our blue and yellow one right here. Now let's just make sure the rest of our corners are correct. And we can see that these ones are definitely correct because we have the blue for all three and the green. So does this one have green on it? Yep. And then it should have red on it as well. So we can see that our corners are correct. Next, we're gonna fix our flat pieces. So we can see we have one correct flat piece right here, which means we can just put this one on the bottom and we're gonna swap these two. So we'll do that two-piece swapping algorithm, which is R2, L, D2, R, L2, and then D prime, if I can get it. All right, so now all we have to do is twist the corners. So this one right here, we need to twist this clockwise because the green needs to go here, yellow needs to go here, and red needs to go here. So the clockwise algorithm is R, L prime, R prime, L, and then do it again. So R, L prime, R prime, L. All right, so now we just have one more corner, and this one needs to be twisted counterclockwise because blue needs to go here, green needs to go here. So just pick a corner to look at. We're gonna do the counterclockwise one, which is L prime, R, L, R prime, and then again L prime, R, L, R prime. And there we go, we have it solved.